Okay. We'll go through these. This is one I want to get through today. Again, I want these back. Don't crumble them up. Don't throw them away. They're mine.
Oh, decent. What's that age? Hey, Allison, you know each other? Alright. Yeah. Yeah, good work. Thank you.
Mr. Haggis? Why is he assistant? Why do you need three?
He's mentoring Frank. So.
Right? Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow.
He's not high school.
Wait, wait, Warren, you said that's high school coach this year?
What?
Is he one of the coaches this year?
He's just the company. Brody Lee's. This. Rachel.
Oh my God. Can I go to the back? I need to retake. When may I go to the bathroom? Because I got to. It's been doing this a little. Which one's the way I go to the bathroom? Yeah, just that one. Oh, okay. I really did not know.
All right.
That's what I got.
Okay. You want to shut the door and shut the lights?
That's what I got.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay, test should be out in front of you. I want to walk around and collect it here in a minute. Thank you. All right, it's at 33 points. You can see the total. Off to the side here, I'm going to shorten this up just so you can see this. This is where the point spread was, in case you're like, why did I miss 2 here? Why did I miss 3? Because number one, you didn't display that you knew anything about how to do that problem, or maybe you just missed 1 part, or maybe you missed 2 parts. It really came down to, did you even have an idea what to do? Option list should be handling you to add it with your total. The numbers you're seeing here is just me adding a total for parts. It was a $46,000 car. Okay, it had to be in the ballpark. You're adding only a select few options, but it was 4 points. You had to display to me that you actually could go through all the parts and add correctly. It should have been just a calculator. I don't think too many people missed that. Number 2, here's where it came into it. Here's where the problem came in. Price times interest times time. I said that out loud when you guys started. So price times interest times time. That was your hint. So I multiplied it. A lot of people forgot that interest has to be a decimal. You gotta change it to percent. So now that you have that, that's $7,000. A lot of people usually got $7 grand, but you had to add it to your total to find the total price of the vehicle. So the price is actually going to cost me $60,000 for this vehicle, and then you're going to divide by how many months and years. So I did it by 12 and by 5. Some people just divide by 60. Fine, great, but it was $1,000. The thing I was noticing is a lot of people were just finding this number and then dividing that by 12 and by 5. You have to add it back in. I had some people like subtract that number, and they were subtracting, so they found it was like a $45,000 car, and so their price per month was less. I had somebody multiply the $52,000 by 3, then by 5. They added it back in, so their car was like a $200,000 car, and then they divided it by 12 and by 5. Okay, you have to display that you know what percents are. Okay, the next one. I don't know why. Trade-in and rebates are prices that come off the top. They come off. It's a rebate. It's cash rebate. They're giving you cash back. You can choose if you want to spend it again. So they have to be subtracted off. There's your easy number. Some people are like adding it. That's not how a rebate works. Deferred price. Monthly payments times month. This will be what you're paying through the months. Plus you add in your down payment. This is what you're paying total for that car. It's your monthly payments and down payment. This is just what you agreed the price of the car was going to be. Now that you have that, you subtract the original price of the car versus what you paid total, and this gives you what your interest was. That was a very cheap interest loan. That's the trick. Okay, some people were like adding these together to get like 15,000. you only have the down payment. This is just what the agreed price over there, the agreed price is the cash rate. Okay? Alright, so there you go. Some people missed a bunch of points in that one. Alright, let's go to page 2. So flip it over. Alright. Wesley lives in a low-risk area. Hint, hint, low risk. In words. People are picking all the high-risk stuff. It said low risk.
Me too.
Okay, so low risk is the 30, 40, and the 61. Don't worry, it was a lot of people pick high risk. I even had to check their test and I didn't print it wrong. Low risk. So I add those up. That was $401. You take it times his policy rate, because he's a male, and that gives you what his total was. Okay? Question?
What did I do wrong? You said it's okay.
I marked it wrong because it's $500.
Oh.
You put 90, so I went back and checked the other second page, and divided by what it was costing you per month.
I thought it was that was.
No.
So fine then.
No, yeah, you're fine, because on the other page, your work, you actually have $500. Alright, and I had a bunch of people that try to go further, they try to divide by months and years and whatnot, alright. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, so like if we take both the high risk, we just get 1.1 for choosing the right plan, but we got the other points for
Yeah.
the
So, I think you'd only miss 2 points if you had no idea what you're doing. I had one person like that. They picked the two numbers, and then they just wrote down some random number and it didn't make any sense. Like, it wasn't like they added them together, it wasn't like they subtracted them. I don't know what their answer came from. Like, I couldn't replicate it. So, okay, number 6. You had to subtract the two prices. I even did it by hand to show you can do it by hand. I did it on a calculator as well. It's the same price. You divide by how many years it was, and that's what you're paying, or that's what the mileage is per year. Why this is important, if you do a rental car, or if you do a lease vehicle, this is the number you need to worry about. If it's over your average, then you have to pay the difference. You know, in some cases, like on a Tesla, you can lease them out, really low payments, like $300 payments to get a brand new Tesla, right? And the idea is that if you go over their allotted, like, their amount of miles, they give you 10,000 miles per 3 years, and you go over it by average, you're paying, I think it's like 30 cents a mile. So you're paying the difference in miles. I went 900 miles on average over, so I pay 30 cents a mile. I'm paying like an extra $300 for every year I did that. So that bill will be about $1,000 almost, by the time I'm done. Because I averaged 900 miles every year over that. So, that's something you need to worry about if you start leasing cars. You can't go over the miles they allow you to drive. Okay, Paris to Rome, you had to measure it. I was looking for a number around 9.5. I had a lot of 9.4s, I had a couple 9.3s. I think there was only one person that said it was 9. You were way off. Like, that was significantly far off. Okay? But it was about 9.5. That was it was actually 9.53, just saying. But it was 9.5. You cross multiply and divide, it was about 698 miles. In fact, the real distance is actually 699, so that's really accurate. So then, what our number is, you divide by the miles per gallon. This is my car, by the way. So you divide by that. So I'm using 24 gallons. And in Europe, no joke, that was the price of yesterday's gas in Europe. It was $6.76 a gallon.
Wow.
Because in Europe, they charge you price per liter, and that's not a gallon. It's like a liter is like 0.7 of a gallon. So they're actually charging $6.70. In Germany, it's like $8 a gallon.
So do they have like different gas mileage in their cars then?
Yeah, a lot of people drive diesels in Europe because diesels get way better gas mileage, and their diesel price is actually cheaper than gasoline. So, yeah, can you imagine? That was a low number in Europe.
My diesel doesn't get big.
Okay, so you better appreciate the $2 gas we have right now. So I was just checking, like, you have to be with the okay. Way out, I was expecting. Yes, or 9.3.
She's gonna start.
Okay, parts. Now, there was 2 different answers I had here, because I understood, and it was very apparent after I had a question. I think it was Katie even asked a really good question during the middle of the test. And then I had to write down 2 different prices. She didn't understand that it's $2. It was 2 gallons at $6.99 each. there was only one person that did this differently. They thought it was just $6.99 total. They understood this one. It was $1.45 each. I didn't put each here. There was only one person in the room, it wasn't Katie, it was somebody else, that they just did $150 plus $6.99 plus a bunch of these. And then, okay, I counted it right because they showed all of their work. They showed all of their work, what they're getting. They took it times their tax to get their total, and then they added in their labor. That was the only one that I saw that showed evidence that their number was right or wrong. Okay, if you didn't show any evidence why you're getting some crazy number here, you're not getting the points.
I got that.
Yeah, this should be the number. Now, you had to multiply by 0.107 to get this, and then you had to add it to your labor. You do not tax labor. I had a lot of people that would add this price with the labor, and then they took it all times 0.107 or 1.07. You can't do that. The parts are taxed separately, the labor is separate, and you add them in later together. So it's adding this number on here. Okay? Okay, that's it. That's all I want to cover. If you choose to retake, it will be a different test. Okay, it'll be the same structure, same number of questions. Now, here's what I'm going to warn you of. It'll be different parts, because I'm just picking a different problem from page 133 that we had. It'll be a different map, but it'll have all the scales and whatever the prices are, because you have to demonstrate that you know how to do it for any map. It'll be the grid still up above it. I'll pick a new person with a new risk and a new multiplier. And then on the front page, it'll be some car that you're purchasing with other options I just picked out of the book. So it's going to be, it's a different test, but you have to demonstrate you know what you're doing. So if you're going to retake, all you have to do is come here before or after school, preferably before school. Spend 10 minutes with me reviewing the problems you missed to make sure you know why you missed them. And if you want to go over any other problems you just got lucky maybe, we can go over those. And then we'll set up a test date for it. Okay, that's how it always goes. But I want this test done maybe by the end of next week or before Thanksgiving, so that's the week after. So I want to make sure it's done quick. You are not allowed to take a retake after Thanksgiving. So it has to be done before then. Because by that point, we're almost into the middle of chapter 6, I think we're going into next. So, okay, I'm taking these back. That's it for today. That's all I want to cover. Easy peasy.
May I go to the restaurant?
Yes, you're going to the restaurant now.
May I go to the restaurant too?
Yes, when she gets back.
Can I go to the office?
Yes. Okay, if you borrow a calculator from me, make sure you get them back there. And allow you to do calculations.
And plus, I'm really damaged right there.
The thing that's getting you around the market
Yes.
Where'd you get that?
sold perfect in the room.
Yeah. That was close.
A lot of them.
Good job, Matthew.
There's some good scores in there.
Woo!
Thank
Go Tessa.
Matt, what'd you
Yeah,
get?
go Tessa.
I got a 33 out of 33, so
Proud of you, man.
thank you.
I got 30 out of 33. I
Yeah,
thought that
you're
was
like
pretty
I
good.
think that's pretty good. I still think there's a lot of good scores today.
Sorry, honey. You did it.
But pay attention.
I got
And we
30
talked
out
about
of
it down
33.
in the top.
Called.
They didn't want
I'm a little nervous about the Mason City game, just because it's always rough. But everything after that was, the Mason City game always makes it good. Is that like next week? You start doing that?
I can start today with my basketball shoes. I can only walk around in my basketball shoes.
So it'd be good to walk around and do some of that. So maybe like when they're doing some of the varsity stuff today, maybe if we split, come down my side, that way you can still be, like you can walk and do the out of bounds plays and stuff. You guys have to walk through those.
What about still doesn't
We
say.
can all start.
Really? Can I still play?
You gonna go out for basketball?
Yeah, I have a question.
But I don't know.
Weird
They don't say real.
Bus leaves here tomorrow at 7 in the morning.
Mr. Ward, I suck at basketball.
What is
For
wrong
what?
with you?
We have a scrimmage tomorrow.
I don't like till 7.
Why do you guys have 2 scrimmages?
So we always have 3.
Wake up
3?
at 7.
Where's the third one?
We don't know yet. We haven't set them. That's usually over Christmas break.
This is trash.
Oh,
So we have 2 right away in the beginning. Mason City's game and then Clearhouse game.
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
When's your first day?
I think our first game is what, 8:30?
They still got Megan Ryder, so.
I don't either. I don't know. He hasn't filled me in.
I just found the Sixers.
Don't know.
We're like,
I mean, double check. Maybe I got it in part of my calendar today. Now, hey, remember, hey, when the bell goes off here, cell phones have to stay in the caddy. I'll lock up the doors. No one will get in. And then we're going down to the assembly once we're done. You have another 6 minutes so you can play. Yeah, if you leave your stuff here, we'll come back and get your stuff. And we'll go.
I did. Really? No, I'm gonna hard on the wall. No, Daddy, you cannot have your phone with you.
I'm not gonna have it. I'm checking
Yeah.
before we go. Yeah, so it's going with the stripes.
I would have been so upset.
Yeah, it would have been close.
Charges the shield.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how she was. I don't know.
Wait, what time does this assembly thing start? Or what time do you gotta go?
All the time.
That's my brother! Grady! That's what I mean. You. Fred.
I don't know what to do. 24 hours.
Go ahead. Make me nervous.
Think I can get through. What?
You know him too?
He added me.
Off of,
Yeah, but these guys, like, this is what makes it seem like.
I thought you were talking about.
5 minutes.
They have 1 minute. They start next week. Practice. Girls start usually boys start. Like, you just want to. You are gonna be on 2 games.
I put my laptop in last night. I don't know why.
I'm trash.
Hey, true trash.
I got 6. I did 60 minutes.
We were raising for a lot yesterday about the situation.
Bro, I don't.
I don't know how to get it out with
It tells you.
He can't respond.
Alright.
Like, he doesn't know something. There's no response.
No, we're talking.
Now, hey, just remember, cell phones need to be in the caddy when we leave here, so I'm trying to remind you of that before people forget.
My eyes there?
31 days. You're gonna get taken away for 30 days.
Yeah, so, but I really wanted to test, I really wanted to test this.
That's the rule.
And And she wanted, and she made one of the questions made in the let me know if you have the picture yet, because I can't see you. Remember, I'm blind. And then everyone like, and everyone like, yeah, and everyone was like, and she would just tell other people to go in for sex. Yeah, and she's not there.
It was on sale.
Like, how do you expect someone
I
to?
probably got scammed.
I wanted to show, if that's not what I'm here, I was gonna play these together.
Maybe. Ow.
This summer when I was debating like I wanted to do
Yeah, you can leave all your stuff here. We'll come back here.
and my aunt, our friends, and I was sitting on
Depends if they show that video. That videos show.
I'll be sending you that.
Videos short and then we'll be back here and we'll have it for fifth grade. They show.
It won't let me change it though.
Yeah, my,
It's
she
just a
hits
better
me,
thing.
she starts talking about
Some years they show a video that they have remade it. Some years they just have.
She didn't even know it's and like she said how it was like once you guys
It's out.
It's going with it.
not even they're out for half a week. You were like waiting after half time. You won't.
That's no good. You don't see the old thing.
Okay, you can leave all your stuff here. Leave your cell phone to the caddy, please. I don't have to deal
No,
with it.
Ty's like to Miss Mitchell. He's like, can you check what Jason? She's like, what? Disney
Make sure I turn off the video. I don't know if I turned it off yet.